For years, I believed the answer to a better marriage was somewhere outside of me. Maybe more date nights, more communication, more relationship advice. And while all those things matter, I eventually realized something uncomfortable. The quality of my marriage was directly connected to the quality of the man showing up inside of it. So when I became disconnected from myself, I became disconnected from my wife. So today, my friend, I want to walk you through what I call the active husband strategy. There's 6 areas every husband must develop if he wants to move from feeling like roommates to becoming true partners again. So this, my friend, is the active husband strategy. It's all about looking within, leading yourself, and loving your family. So first and foremost, as always, we start with self-awareness. Now, self-awareness is understanding your thoughts, your emotions, and your patterns. Why are you having the thoughts that you're having? Why are you feeling and adding emotion to those specific thoughts? And what are the actions and the patterns that you're taking? So when we look at self-awareness, we want to begin to understand, why are you having the thought at that time? Why are you feeling the emotions at that time? Because it's creating this routine. When you get home from work, for example, when you get home from work and a situation arises, you might be quick to anger. You might be quick to frustration. Maybe you snap at your kids. Maybe something happens and you're like, why did I do that? What is the pattern? Because this is consistent that I feel like this towards my family or my wife. And it's because you have no transformation period between who you are at work and who you need to be at home. We have these 2 roles and you play the same role. So what you have to do is you have to take 5 minutes and do what I call a transformation ritual. Sit in your car, either at work or at home, go to a park, doesn't matter, wherever you sit. And basically you spend 5 minutes. You write down how your day went, what you felt, how you want to be when you get home, your intentions, because your intentions are very powerful. And then you want to go, okay, what is it that are in my thoughts? What am I thinking about? What am I doing where I need to plan for tomorrow so I can get this stuff out of my head, get it on paper, and put it aside? And then you spend about 2 to 3 minutes with your eyes closed, just focusing on your breath work. This, my friend, I've found is a great transformation from being the work provider into being the husband or the father. And then we move into self-discipline. Because when you begin to control your habits, you control the routines, you control the things that you do, you master your actions. When you use this self-discipline, you go, okay, who am I in this moment? Who am I being? What are my habits? This creates that outcome. And again, when you have the thoughts of like, look, I'm going to be a more physically fit person, but you don't go to the gym, your habits don't align with your thoughts. So if you say, I'm going to be more physically fit, you have to give yourself a command. This is what self-discipline is. And my definition of it is giving yourself a command and following through with it. I am going to be a fit person by going to the gym. That's my command. And on those days that you're like, I don't feel like it, it's like you're like, look, Adam, you said that you're going to do this. Follow your command. And that is basically the simplest way to build self-discipline. And then once you begin, you're self-aware, you build that self-discipline, we move into love and leadership. Now, you love your wife, you lead at home, and you protect your family. And this is done through action. But if you have the thing, again, you go through the life's operating system, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. But if you're not thinking, man, I love my wife and I want to do things for her, and you get home, you're like, oh my gosh, my wife didn't clean up the dishes again. Or my gosh, I'm so frustrated because she keeps doing this. You're already ending the relationship in your mind before you even begin to proceed with the action. So when you love your wife and you give her that attention and the emotion that she needs, that is where it begins in creating that life that you want. And then we move into 4, legacy and impact. You create the legacy your children are proud to carry. When I show my wife affection, when I treat my wife with respect, when I treat my wife with love, when I lead at home, this is showing my boys, oh, okay, that's how a husband acts. That's how a husband becomes the person he wants to be. Because right now I'm molding my boys by the actions, by the things I subconsciously do. So I have to recognize those patterns, going back to self-awareness, recognize the patterns in my life so that I can create that persona and that person I want to be. Now we move into connection and communication. Be present. How are you present? Well, you have thoughts. We all have thoughts. We have over 60,000 thoughts a day. Probably about 50,000 of those or more are repeated, but we have thoughts all the time. So what we do is when you're present, when you have a thought, so let's say you're hanging out with your wife, you're having dinner, and you're having a great discussion and a thought pops in your head. I do this all the time. And a thought pops in your head. You just be like, hold on one sec, I'm having a thought about work, or I'm having a thought about this. Grab your phone, put a little note in, put it down, and go, okay, let's continue. And that shows her that you want to be present in the moment, but we all have thoughts, right? And she'll respect that more. My wife and I have great communication because of the conversations we have. I'm getting so much better that my wife goes, are you paying attention? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm standing here listening to you. Because before, I used to drone off, or I'd have a comment, or I'd say something. Now I'm an active listener. I'll sit there quietly and I'll listen, and then I'll be like, okay, that's amazing, or I'll give her some positive reinforcement or whatever it is. And then we move into purpose and direction. As a husband, as a man, as a father, we need to have purpose, not just a routine. We get up in the morning, we shower, shave, head to work, get the kids off to school, head to work, come home, pick the kids up, maybe do a sport, watch a movie with the family, go to bed, do it all over again. That's a routine. You have to have purpose. You have to be like, why am I here? What is the impact that I want to make in this world? And when we understand the purpose and direction that we have, that is when your life is going to be more fulfilling. That is when you're going to build who you are. And then when we go over to the left side of this, straight down for me now, everything changes when you start with you, right? An example I always use is when you are on a plane and the flight attendant says, okay, ladies and gentlemen, if a situation happens, put your oxygen mask on first, because if you're unconscious, passed out on the floor, you can't help those people around you. So everything changes when you start with you. Know who you are. Heal what's holding you back. Define your values. It's funny because I actually did this morning. I was reading a Robin Sharma book, and it was talking about values. And this morning I said, okay, what are my true values? And I drove up six things that I truly, absolutely value. So my value. So basically, here's what I found, and I've had values before. I just really wanted to be committed to them. So first is integrity. I tell myself and others the truth, and my actions align with my words, right? Second is courage. I take necessary action despite fear, uncertainty, and comfort. Third one is discipline. I keep the commitments I make to myself, right? I give myself a command and I follow through with them. That's my definition of discipline. Compassion. I treat myself and others with understanding, patience, and grace. Authenticity. I refuse to wear masks to gain approval or avoid rejection. And I find that I've been like that. I've worn the masks before where it's like, when I'm around certain people, I'm this way. When I'm around my family, I'm this way. When I'm by myself, I'm this way. These are separate masks that I've worn in the past. So I refuse to wear them. I am who I say I am no matter what I'm around. And then finally, number 6 is growth. I learn, I improve, and I challenge myself every day, right? And then it kind of creates a little sequence that I did. So basically, integrity shows the truth. Courage helps you face it. Discipline helps you act on it. Compassion keeps you human. Authenticity keeps you grounded, and growth keeps you moving forward. So those are my values. And with AI, so much nowadays, my friend, you can go into like chat or wherever, or even Google AI, and go, okay, give me a list of 25 values that I value in my life. And I want to begin to figure out the ones that work for me. And this is a great way to discover who your values are. This helps you to build that inner strength and become the man. My friend, you are in charge of your life. You are the person that's really controlling. And the goal in the bottom corner there isn't perfection, it's progression. It's getting yourself better each and every day. 1%. There's one of the rules I live by is living 1% at a time every day. And then I grow and I become the person I want to be. So, my friend, take a picture of this. Really understand that you have a strategy that you can become that husband, that father, that man that you are truly looking to become. Most couples don't become roommates because they stop loving each other. They become roommates because they stopped growing together. Right? The relationship becomes schedules, it becomes responsibilities, bills, tasks, right? But a thriving marriage requires internal growth, right? The husband grows. As you grow, your marriage is going to grow. Your family is going to grow. So I want to give you a challenge this week. Look at these 6 areas of the active husband strategy. Ask yourself, which one of these is creating the most distance in my marriage right now? Don't work on 6 things, right? Just work on one. One area, one action. That's all it is. One internal improvement this week. And if your marriage feels more like your roommates and partners, my friend, I created a workbook that I called Roommates to Partners. Super simple. And I put the download in the link below. So go down. It's a free workbook. Go get your copy today. My friend, it will help you identify exactly where the disconnection is happening, and it'll give you those practical steps to rebuild trust, connection, and intimacy. And if you're ready to go deeper, also put the link down to join the Connected Brotherhood, where we help husbands and fathers stop drifting and start becoming the man their family. So come join us there. It's a free school community, and I look forward to seeing you there. And remember, my friend, trust yourself. You got this.